There are many advantages that have come with the streaming age, terrible as it's been for our attention spans and the overall quality of cinema for the masses. One of them is increased production of horror films, to the point that at any given month, you could see 2 or 3 new classics amidst the cheap rubbish. The trouble with this is that many things fall between the cracks, and some of the most interesting fright films have become curios and footnotes seemingly overnight. And in an era where we've learned to rightly mistrust the idea of a remake, several A- efforts have been tossed on the heap. The trouble isn't merely a collective gag reflex at the scent of a recycled idea, but rather that these films aren't running on the kind of impulses that a contemporary audience has embraced. Both Nicolas Pesce's The Grudge and Leigh Whannell's The Wolfman are widescreen symphonies, both shot in anamorphic 239, and both more concerned with what we see than with what people say. Both directors reasonably divine that the audience will be all too familiar with the events of these movies, thanks to 100 years of genre conventions, to say nothing of their direct influences. So why not let the images do the talking? Pesce announced himself as a talent with his oniric Eyes of My Mother, a small, homemade feeling black and white fable of erotic destruction. Piercing, his follow-up, doubled down on the sadomasochistic romance at its core, showing a degenerate relationship that relies on blood for its stability. The Grudge was a departure in just about every way, relying less on what we understood about genre cinema, and more about what we expect and don't from the same thing. The Grudge surprised me by having the sun-bleached look of a Jerry Schatzberg film, and an all-star cast to match his peak. The collection of A-listers gives each micro-segment of the film real emotional heft beyond the very convincing screams of terror.
And mine was the cover they used.
Well, I remember this.
You remember it?
How about some pear? Pear? Oh, yeah, we like pear, don't we? Oh, yeah, there's.
Peter?
Yes. It's all right, Lou.
Hello? Peter Spencer?
I walked in quietly.
You don't recall you were quite disturbed?
Dr. Sherman is my psychiatrist. He is the top psychiatrist here. If you do not go away, I will begin to become quite disturbed.
What the hell happened in that house?
Who does that to a 6-year-old girl? Nobody does that to a 6-year-old girl. A monster.
Now, ever since I went to that house, I've been seeing shit. I can't get it out of my head.
There's a case I found in Japan. At least a dozen unrelated people killed in the same house in Tokyo. And I spoke to the detective over there, this Nakagawa. He thinks a murder in that house caused something called a juan. Something like a curse. Fiona Landers worked at that same house in Tokyo, and I know this sounds crazy.
Andrea Riseborough, one of our most interesting actresses, is our guide to the supernatural curse first coined by Takashi Shimizu, who not only directed the stupefyingly scary original, but also its nearly as good first American remake. Making the second English-language version of a movie is no one's idea of a great gig, but Pesce seemed to know that better than anyone, and filled it with images the American horror cinema usually only gets from masters of contemporary antiquity like Rob Zombie. Riseborough storms into this with an iconic look and sleepless eyes, a ghost waiting for the other shoe to drop into her grave. She brings real intensity to this part. The film's grungy, grimy depiction of rural America feels more honest than purely stylized, and its portraits of the people as honest but unlucky rings a bell of which I'm sure many wish they could ignore the sound. Not unlike the iconic croaking noise that defines this series.
Peter Spencer here. Hello? Peter Spencer.
Oh my God.
Like William Wellman before him, Pesce color grades, shoots, and costumes this movie as if it's monochrome, with every scene and environment color-coded so that everything stands apart, yet blends to create a tapestry of spoiling lives, turning dead and rancid as we watch.
Mrs. Matheson, are you all right? Who are you playing with?
My friend.
And what's your friend's name?
Melinda.
Melinda? Is she here with us now?
Please, I
Mr.
understand.
Matheson, I was quite clear on the requirements, and I'm truly deeply sorry, but your wife is no longer mentally competent.
Please. You can't just leave.
The presence of so many seasoned actors treating each scene like Eugene O'Neill just makes the inevitability of their demises that much heavier and tragic and strange, with Pesce setting a stage for them in high, grim style in which to communicate their losing battles with death. Tell me truly if, sight unseen, you would have guessed that this was at the hour mark of the 4th American Grudge movie.
What's the matter?
Nothing. The baby just moved.
How are you feeling about everything? I'm sorry. It's not a good time.
No, it's okay. I want to talk about it. Peter, I never wanted to be a mother. But I love this baby. Like, so much more than I thought I did, and I don't know, I'm gonna love this baby no matter what.
Since his inauspicious debut, and despite the fact that he's an Australian, Leigh Whannell has been crafting some of the best widescreen stories in the American cinema. His enormous, generous frames come to take in the American conscience and its obsession with self-annihilation, with destroying the man next to you rather than rebuilding yourself. He quietly became the most reliable mid-budget studio filmmaker we have, with his honest and bleakly funny throwbacks.
I found something that can prove what I'm experiencing. That can prove that Adrian is stalking me.
What is it?
It's some kind of suit that Adrian has built. And it has cameras, and it somehow... What?
His Wolfman was not well received, and just barely made its money back. But that has as much to do with what it's not as what it is. The first thing to say is that this movie is a visual feast. But because of its dark hues and the broken and dying bulbs inside American projectors simply not living up to the task of screening movies that rely on shadows, it probably looked like just one more disappointment in the dark. But seen as shot, it becomes among the most beautiful horror films of the last 5 years.
If someone can hear me, please respond. My husband is sick. If anyone can hear me, please call someone to help.
Though the film began life with a different star and director, Whannell moved past the exquisite functionality of his last 3 movies into a slow descent into paralysis and anguish. Whannell based the movie on his experience watching a friend succumb to ALS, and the pain of recreating it is evident.
Can you write it down? Tell me what's wrong.
Furthermore, he reached not for a previous incarnation of cinematic lycanthropy, but the disintegration of Jeff Goldblum's body and mind in David Cronenberg's remake of The Fly.
I'm saying... I'm saying I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it. But now the dream is over, and the insect is awake.
When Christopher Abbott is bitten by a werewolf, over the course of a long night, he becomes a grotesque parody of both a wolf and a man, and he loses his ability to communicate with the daughter he so loves and wants to protect. Abbott, an actor already known for his interiority, has to describe the death of his mind and body without words and without scaring his daughter, and brings his everything to the part, even when he's coated in prosthetics that took hours to apply and made him physically uncomfortable.
Daddy? Daddy? What am I thinking? Right now? What am I thinking? I was thinking that I love you. But if I still I'm hearing. Dad, are you okay?
Ironically, he's already lost the ability to communicate with his wife, so their sudden supernatural estrangement doesn't seem to impact her as much.
But I just don't think we need to do it. I promise from now on. Can you just get it online?
Take that in the other room.
Are you doing it or not?
Charlotte, can you take that in the other room?
Listen, I know what I'm doing. You know I know because you taught me how to do it.
Bye, Charlotte.
Okay, bye. Can you not do that, please?
What did I do?
I was having an important conversation with my editor.
Yeah, because you're the only one that has important stuff going on, right? I'm not busy at all.
If I ever have kids, I'm never gonna fight in front of them.
Their closeness was already an exhausted pantomime. This is an old-fashioned monster movie, harking back to the misery of Lon Chaney's heartbreaking portraits of solemnity, buried under pounds of makeup. Not for nothing is Abbott's father the cause of his misery. We all owe a debt to someone. The film, relying on silences and great unexpected thundering sounds instead of dialogue and over-explanation, did not endear it to an American audience used to both waiting for expiation and the equally loud spelling out of theme and content. Horror is at a very strange time in its history right now, still waiting for the next moment, the next movement, the next chord to resonate. In the meantime, I hope we don't take for granted or forget the beauty of an image of decay, the casual brilliance of a widescreen well used, the thought of taking a studio's idea and running wild in the opposite direction. These two very ambitious movies may have looked like product from the outside, but their artistry will be there for those with the vision to see what was attempted and what was achieved.
I'm going to school, Mom.